Welcome to Hannity tonight. Only 8 days left to stop the Obama-Clinton machine, and Hillary Clinton is desperately trying to distract you, the voters, after the FBI on Friday reopened its investigation into a private email server. Now, according to the Wall Street Journal, the FBI is now searching through, get this, 650,000 emails found on what is thought to be a shared laptop belonging to the Clintons' top aide, Huma Abedin, and Huma's estranged husband, Anthony Weiner. According to the report, the FBI thinks that some of those thousands of emails could have been sent to or from Clinton's private server. Now, Clinton, she can try and downplay the FBI's probe all she wants, but we need to get one thing straight tonight. Everything that is happening, everything that's going to happen, this is Hillary's fault. It's nobody else's fault here. She's now involved in going full Ken Starr on poor James Comey. She can blame him or Huma Abedin or Anthony Weiner or, of course, the vast right-wing conspiracy of congressional Republicans, all that she wants, but Hillary can only blame herself and her own poor judgment, and Clinton is the one who ultimately decided to use that private server to conduct official government business. She's the one who could have exposed American national security secrets to those that wish ill to America and the American people. She's the one who didn't know that a C marking meant that something's classified. She thought it was alphabetical, except they were missing an A, a B, a D, and an X, and a Y, and a Z. She's the one, according to the Daily Caller, didn't complete the necessary State Department training on how to handle classified information. She's the one who told the FBI during a 3.5-hour interview when she was not under oath she couldn't recall or remember 39 times. And she even appeared to blame her concussion at one point. And she's the person who decided to lie after it was discovered what she had done. Hillary Clinton has had plenty of opportunities to tell the truth to you, the American people. She's refused to do so. Take a look at the many times she has changed her story. By the way, this is something the mainstream media is not playing for you. Watch.
The laws and regulations in effect when I was Secretary of State allowed me to use my email for work. That is undisputed. It clearly wasn't the best choice, and I take responsibility for that decision. I thought it would be easier to carry just one device for my work and for my personal emails instead of two.
iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
Okay, in full disclosure, BlackBerry. And a BlackBerry. I have an iPad, a mini iPad, an iPhone, and a BlackBerry.
I believe I have met all of my responsibilities, and the server will remain private. In order to be as cooperative as possible, we have turned over the server. They can do whatever they want to with the server. I am confident that I never sent nor received any information that was classified at the time it was sent and received. So that leaves the 100 out of 30,000 emails that Director Comey testified contained classified information. I did not receive anything that was marked as classified. Director Comey said that only 3 out of 30,000 had anything resembling classified markers.
You were the official in charge. Did you like the service?
What, like with a cloth or something? No. Well, no. We turned over everything that was work-related. Every single thing.
No, she didn't. And it wasn't a cloth. It was bleach bit. It was acid washed. Now, all the examples I'm showing you are exactly why, according to the latest Fox News poll, 67% of likely voters say Hillary Clinton is not honest and not trustworthy. And part of the reason voters probably feel this way is because anyone who has followed the facts in this case knows that Clinton has avoided telling the truth at all costs. Now, she's claimed time and time again that she did nothing wrong when it comes to handling classified information. But back in July, remember FBI Director James Comey? Well, now they're trying to Ken Starr him. Well, he said that simply wasn't the case. Watch this.
From the group of 30,000 emails returned to the State Department in 2014, 110 emails in 52 email chains have been determined by the owning agency to contain classified information at the time they were sent or received. 8 of those chains contained information that was top secret at the time they were sent. 36 of those chains contained secret information at the time, and 8 contained confidential information at the time. That's the lowest level of classification. Although we did not find clear evidence that Secretary Clinton or her colleagues intended to violate laws governing the handling of classified information, there is evidence that they were extremely careless in their handling of very sensitive, highly classified information.
Very powerful. Now, days later, Comey had this exchange with Congressman Trey Gowdy that offered more evidence that Clinton not only has not been honest, but Comey's admitting she broke laws. Watch this.
Secretary Clinton said there was nothing marked classified on her emails either sent or received. Was that true?
That's not true. There were a small number of portion markings on, I think, 3 of the documents.
Secretary Clinton said, I did not email any classified material to anyone on my email. There is no classified material. Was that true?
There was classified material emailed.
Secretary Clinton said she used just one device. Was that true?
She used multiple devices during the 4 years of her term as Secretary of State.
Secretary Clinton said all work-related emails were returned to the State Department. Was that true?
No, we found work-related emails, thousands, that were not returned.
Secretary Clinton said her lawyers read every one of the emails and were overly inclusive. Did her lawyers read the email content individually?
No.
Lie after lie, law after law broken.
Hello, I'm Lauren Green, and you are in the Strategy Room. We are officially now in the final full week until Election Day on November 8th, and Democratic presidential nominee Hillary Clinton is at the center of yet another scandal involving deleted emails that were uncovered over the weekend on former Congressman Anthony Weiner's laptop, which was shared with wife and longtime Clinton aide Huma Abedin. FBI Director James Comey issued the October surprise on Friday and now has launched an investigation into these 650,000 emails or messages that might be involved in the Clinton email investigation. Well, joining me now to talk are Media News Bureau Chief and Fox News contributor Ellen Ratner and Vice President of the Manhattan Republican Party, Brian Morgenstern. Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
So, Brian, I'm going to start with you because the FBI recovered the laptop because they were investigating a different case against Anthony Weiner. People in New York kind of know about this. He was sexting or sexting a 15-year-old and some other issues. So they found this link. So explain more about what this really means.
Well, what happened was in a separate investigation, they found in metadata that there were emails coming from Clinton's server, which means that was outside the scope of what they were already investigating, meaning they had to go back for permission to investigate for this additional purpose, which is now what they're doing. Now, in terms of Comey coming forward and announcing the investigation is reopened or it's, you know, popping its head back up, my understanding is that was in connection with his testimony before Congress about this investigation, where he was either ordered or agreed that he would supplement the record if there were any further developments, because at that point he said, you know, this investigation essentially is over.
Right.
Now he knows it's not.
Because when they found the metadata that links sort of governmental kinds of emails, they basically had to reopen it, and he had to tell Congress.
Right. I mean, that seems to have been him fulfilling his obligation. And if we think about the alternative in this situation, now Team Clinton is dropping a nuke on the head of Jim Comey, saying this is totally his fault, this is a partisan hackery and everything else. Had he not disclosed this, Election Day comes and goes, and then, surprise, the email investigation is still going.
It would have been worse had he held back after the election.
Right, and so the contrary argument is that it's better for democracy, apparently, to conceal a criminal investigation of a presidential candidate. That doesn't hold a lot of water.
Okay, Ellen, I'm sure you've been watching and reading over the weekend what's been going down about this. What does this mean now? What is your take?
Well, first of all, my take is that Huma could have said, you can look at the emails, as well as Anthony Weiner could have said it, and they wouldn't have had to go to court. But secondly, I think that FBI Director Comey went with this because he was getting some pressure and perhaps some leaks from some other sides. So I think he didn't have a choice whether he wanted to or not. But thirdly, I'm not sure that is going to change anybody's mind in either direction, really. Some of the polls have been showing, but they're not, you know, we don't know yet. I think that if you're in the Hillary camp, you're in the Hillary camp. If
Right.
you are in the Trump camp, you're in there, and I don't think this makes a darn bit of difference.
You know, Brian, this is interesting because it's an unpredictable factor, but Trump is really using this against Hillary. I mean, he's really on about this is the mother lode, this is the big one, folks. You know, these revelations that coming from Comey, I mean, you said, you know, he would be, you know, be between a rock and a hard place, really. He had to do it. But what are your thoughts about how this might affect the campaign if Trump really uses it to his advantage, which he's starting to do?
Well, so now both campaigns are claiming some kind of, you know, sort of wind at their backs. The Dems are claiming that, oh, they're really, you know, have enthusiasm now because people are so terrified by the prospect of a Trump presidency that they're worried that this could actually sway people, and now the Dems are going to come out and vote when they may have already thought it was in the bag. On the other side, Trump is saying, look at this, you know, they're going to get her, we're going to have a constitutional crisis, we have to end this corruption, you know, and we can't have a president under criminal investigation. So let's, you know, nip this in the bud and elect me instead. So honestly, both campaigns are crowing about it. I've seen conflicting reports about a third of voters saying this could influence their vote. I saw another poll come out that was partially included after this information came out. It included some data from that period of time suggesting maybe it hasn't changed. So, you know, maybe more data over the coming days will give us a clearer picture.
You know, Ellen, I'm interested to get your final thoughts on this because it seems as though each candidate has their sort of Achilles heel or their sort of moment where this could really shake things up. Trump had, you know, the locker room talk. Now Clinton has the, you know, the October surprise of the emails. How do you think this will affect the election for Clinton personally if she is indeed elected on November 8th?
Well, first of all, you know, something like 20 or 30% of people have already voted. So you already have at least 1 out of every 5 people who's going to vote has already voted. I'm not sure this affects it in any way, shape, or form. I think that if you're with Hillary, you make all kinds of excuses. The government, Comey went after. If you're with Trump, you make all kinds of excuses for who he is. He's going to clean up America. He's going to make America great. I just don't see it affecting the election.
All right. I want to thank you so much, Ellen and Brian, for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And for complete coverage of the 2016 election, go to foxnews.com. I'm Lauren Green, and thanks for watching.
Back in the big segment tonight, Waters World on Saturday, Key West, Florida, held its annual Fantasy Fest, which is a 10-day festival designed to get people to go to Key West. Theme this year, political voodoo and ballot box barbarians. Waters went down there.
What's Fantasy Fest all about?
Getting naked and having fun.
It's about a lot of fun, a lot of freaks. Next question. Are you cold?
A little bit.
I can tell.
Yeah.
I was in the pool! What's your fantasy?
I don't think I can say that on air.
What's your fantasy besides me?
Take it easy. Relax.
What do we have coming around the corner in November? Who knows, bro? Big event coming up around the corner. What do you think's going to happen?
I think I might get hit in the head with a lot of bees.
Which event? The parade? Or it could be Halloween.
Who knows? Who cares?
Big event coming down the pipeline. What do you think?
I would have to say Christmas.
Ho, ho, ho. The election? I'm not voting. My vote doesn't count.
The election. We try not to follow the election.
Obamacare's entering the death spiral.
I am about to get rid of my Obamacare myself.
You didn't have enough coverage? We're going streaking through the quad! Do you think we should bring in all these Syrian refugees to Key West?
I think we should certainly bring in some, and that's the conundrum.
Can they stay at your house?
I'll take one!
So they can spend the night at your house?
Absolutely, as long as they're cute.
Southern border chaos, wall or no wall?
There's already a wall there, idiot.
Are you talking to me? Are you a Trump girl or a Hillary girl?
Neither.
Do you care who's going to win?
I don't root for either.
Vote Hillary. We're on the Trump train.
Make America great again.
No. I'm with her.
Does Hillary's email situation concern you?
No.
Does anything concern you?
No.
Do you have second thoughts about Hillary after the FBI reopened the email investigation?
They didn't reopen the investigation. They found other emails related to her, not from her server.
How do you know that?
Because I saw it on TV.
Hold hands.
He was born guilty.
You're about as innocent as Hillary.
Even though she up and she was irresponsible, I'd still rather have her over Trump.
I'd rather have someone who's had a car wreck than someone who's never driven.
Here we are.
Oh, yay! What do you think about WikiLeaks?
Amazing.
It seems like you and Trump have a lot in common.
Absolutely, we're both jerks.
Look what you did, you little jerk.
Can I hold your staff?
Yeah.
Big staff.
Okie dokie.
You're a fan of The Factor?
We all big time, and you.
You know who I am, right?
Absolutely.
Tom Waters. Tom Waters. Tom Waters.
And this is your world.
And this is my world.
Yeah. Ooh.
God, you're a sick man.
All right, Ms. Waters, no kids down there, right?
Well, I saw one 9-year-old walking around. Trouble.
Yeah.
I wish I was 9 when I was down there.
Did you see any cops or anything? Are there any...
The cops were leading the parade.
Oh, the cops were in the parade.
Yeah, the cops led the parade, and then
Dressed
Ron
like-
Jeremy was right behind them.
Dressed like cops.
Yeah. One guy actually imitated a cop, and no one knew the difference.
Because, I know it's all good fun, but it's not for the kids.
Yeah, and I was not having a good time.
You were not?
I was just pretending to enjoy myself. I don't like these assignments. I just want to let the record show.
All right, Waters, there you go. And if you believe that.
We reached out to CNN. We were given a statement that reads in part, quote, on October 14th, CNN accepted Donna Brazil's resignation as a CNN contributor. It goes on to say, quote, CNN never gave Brazil access to any questions, prep material, attendee lists, background information, or meetings in advance of a town hall or a debate. Howie Kurtz is host of Media Buzz on Fox News. Howie used to work at CNN. I don't want to be the first to run to condemn CNN. I don't know how she got the questions, Howie, but they need to look into this.
Look, you used the right word in saying this was cheating. Donna Brazil betrayed the network where she worked for many years, and it gives me no joy to say that as somebody who's also known her for a long time. But CNN has handled this poorly. I don't believe anyone at CNN fed these questions in advance to Donna Brazil. CNN suggested it came from TV1, the partner in that town hall where Donna Brazil got those advanced questions. But here's the thing. More than 2 weeks ago, CNN basically forced Donna Brazil out. They're calling it a resignation. We all know what happened. This is the first we're hearing about it with the second WikiLeaks dump. CNN talks about transparency. Why did CNN not get out in front of this, say that we are parting company with Donna Brazil, say we're conducting an investigation, as opposed to, it kind of looks like CNN was more interested in protecting its image than in being transparent about its journalism.
After that first dust-up, it was, okay, we partnered with, TV1 and Roland Martin, not to impugn Roland Martin. We don't know whether he did it or TV1 did it, but the CNN was certainly kind of like, look over there. And now this second one happened in a debate that was only CNN. There was no other partner. And if she got the question, the question is, where'd she get it from? And I'm sure, CNN should be out there defending its journalists. Anderson Cooper hosted that debate, and Don Lemon participated. It should be defending its journalists. And it should be saying, if nobody gave her the question, how'd she access it? Here we have systems. You could go back and check. You could find out when somebody's, ID logged into the system and where they went when they were in there. So if that's what they're suggesting, we should know that. The journalists over there at CNN should be demanding that right now.
Yeah, CNN should be horrified at this turn of events, to use Jake Tapper's term, one of the few who spoke out there, and should investigate and should go public with the results of that investigation and should try to vindicate its reputation by identifying who was responsible. It's not fair to tarnish the whole network with what Donna Brazil did in helping Hillary Clinton, but that's where it stands now. And to not even come forward and say, oh, by the way, she's not coming back here. And ABC also suspended its contributorship with Donna Brazil when she became acting head. We'll see what ABC does.
Yeah, and good for them too. It's hard because she seems like a lovely person. But
she was vice chair of the DNC at the same time she was working for CNN. That was a conflict, as it turns out, it was a problem that could not be squared.
Good to see you, Howie.
My pleasure.
These stories, it brings you no joy to cover. But when people behave badly, what are you going to do? Anyway, we'd be happy to speak with her again to see what the update is on this second story. Joining me now, Fox News senior judicial analyst Judge Anna Napolitano. So now it looks like Huma had a shared computer with Anthony Weiner.
Right.
She had forwarded a bunch of documents she never should have forwarded from Hillary Clinton's server to her Yahoo account, because no one's Yahoo account has ever gotten hacked.
Right.
And then magically forgot about it when she came under questioning by the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
Right, as well as under oath in the Freedom of Information Act case where the deposition was ordered by a federal judge, the lawsuit by Judicial Watch. Look, if the FBI had been permitted by the Justice Department to seat a grand jury and therefore had subpoena power, they more likely than not would have subpoenaed Huma Abedin's mobile device and would have seen the trigger in there that automatically forwarded to herself every email she received, whether from Mrs. Clinton or anybody else.
Unbelievable.
They didn't know about
Yahoo.
it.
Yahoo's had it.
Exactly.
Yahoo email account has had our state secrets.
Didn't know about it until they stumbled upon it when they were looking at her husband's laptop for reasons that we understand.
Okay, so they didn't, and they're looking to see whether there are state secrets in there, whether there's classified information in there.
Well, it's interesting. The affidavit to induce the search warrant that they gave to a federal judge in New York City on Sunday night, 2 days after Director Comey sent a letter about what he hadn't seen, which caused all this uproar that I've been very critical of. That affidavit targets Huma. It doesn't target Hillary Clinton. It says we're concerned that she may have lied to us.
More and more that's the reporting, that there may not be such bad news for Hillary in here, but there may be very bad news for Huma Abedin.
Right.
But when you're pointing out that Comey's letter on Friday, that got everybody in such a tizzy, like, wait, what? He's reopening the investigation. There's 9 days or whatever it was to go to the election. You say he shouldn't have sent it, among other reasons, because he didn't know what was in the emails. And we all, I think, were surprised that he hadn't obtained a warrant yet to see what was in the emails. What's so wrong about that? He saw that there were thousands of them. He was told by his guys they related to the Hillary Clinton investigation.
Because the FBI does not give progress reports on criminal cases. It is not an agency.
But he promised Congress he would update them.
But it was a promise that he oughtn't have made and that would never be kept because he is not obliged. In fact, it is a violation of Department of Justice and FBI policy for him to give such a progress report. It creates a false impression of a snapshot of evidence. It's like Kafka and the trial. Mrs. Clinton doesn't know what's in there and there's clouds hanging over her.
So this could be nothing.
He blabbed about it.
Your point is this could be a nothing burger, and it's already been hung around her neck.
My point is that he should have unleashed the FBI to go wherever the evidence takes them without telling anybody that he was doing it, and given the evidence to the Justice Department. His is a fact-finding investigative agency that he runs. He doesn't answer to the Congress. He doesn't answer to a congressional committee. He answers only to the DOJ.
But he was asked before the House Oversight Committee whether he would reopen the Clinton investigation if he discovered new information that was relevant and substantial, and he said he believed we certainly would look at that. So I don't know. I mean, we'll see. Reportedly, he felt the Bureau's reputation was on the line, and now we actually have a theory as to another reason why he did it. Judge, good to see you.
Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us tonight. Hillary Clinton and the law. That is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. The October surprise is here. The FBI saying it is examining new evidence over allegations that Hillary Clinton may have violated national security by using a private email system as Secretary of State. Mrs. Clinton thought she had put this to rest when FBI Director Comey said the case was not strong enough to prosecute last summer. Upon hearing that, Congressman Elijah Cummings was overjoyed with Comey.
I don't know whether your family's watching this, but I hope that they are as proud of you as I am, because you are the epitome of what a public servant is all about.
But that was then. After Friday's announcement that Comey was reopening the investigation, Cummings had a different take.
I think here Director Comey made a grave mistake. We all make mistakes, but this is a grave mistake.
My question, how would the congressman know it's a grave mistake? He has not seen what the FBI has seen. Truth is, Elijah Cummings and other Democrats do not want to know the truth, do not want justice to take place. And that holds true for the President of the United States, Barack Obama, as well. Based on reporting by Fox News and other agencies, Talking Points has come to the conclusion that the President has made it quite clear to Attorney General Loretta Lynch that he does not want any prosecution of Hillary Clinton or any investigation into the Clinton Foundation. Mrs. Lynch got the message, and according to the Wall Street Journal, is furious that FBI Director Comey has reopened the email investigation. For his part, Comey had to inform Congress about possible new information because in September he said this.
Would you reopen the Clinton investigation if you discovered new information that was both relevant and substantial?
It's hard for me to answer in the abstract. We would certainly look at any new and substantial information.
Yeah.
Comey's not a fool. He knows that if email on Huma Abedin's computer, that's Mrs. Clinton's top assistant, contains classified national security information, he knows that he, Comey, would eventually take the fall if he did not pursue obvious leads and tell Congress. So he had to go public, even though reports are Loretta Lynch did not want him to do so. The whole thing's a mess, with politics perhaps trumping justice. Even former Attorney General Eric Holder weighed in, saying Comey was wrong. This is the same Holder who was held in contempt of Congress because he failed to turn over documents related to the Fast and Furious gun scandal. Holder ran his Justice Department under President Obama in the most partisan political way possible. A deplorable situation. Unfortunately, it looks like Attorney General Lynch is doing the same thing. There is no question the new exposure is hurting Hillary Clinton. A new ABC News poll says 34% of Americans are now less likely to vote for her. Also, her poll numbers are falling. The Real Clear average is now less than 3% in her favor, down substantially in a week. Mrs. Clinton is not happy.
I'm sure a lot of you may be asking what this new email story is about and why in the world the FBI would decide to jump into an election with no evidence of any wrongdoing with just days to go. That's a good question.
And it is a question that deserves an answer, but we will not get that answer before Election Day. For his part, Donald Trump, who condemned Comey for letting Clinton off the hook last summer, is now happy.
And I have to give the FBI credit. That was so bad what happened originally, and it took guts for Director Comey to make the move that he made in light of the kind of opposition he had where they're trying to protect her from criminal prosecution. You know that. It took a lot of guts.
Talking Points is not sure whether it took a lot of guts because, as stated, Comey would have eventually been held accountable if the emails on Ms. Abedin's computer show national security violations. So while Comey was covering his butt last summer, he may be also covering it now. Finally, there's a civil war within the FBI. Comey knows that. Some career agents have offered their resignations because they don't believe the Clinton email investigation was conducted in a rigorous way. Comey, Lynch, and President Obama could have saved the nation all of this turmoil had they done what they should have done in the first place: convened a federal grand jury to review the evidence presented by the FBI. That would have gotten politics out of it. But in America at this point in history, justice takes a back seat to politics. Not acceptable. And that's the memo. Now for the top story reaction. Joining us from Washington, Charles Krauthammer. And you say?
Comey did the right thing. And Comey did the only thing he could do. He had absolutely no choice. There's no way when you've declared an investigation closed, and then you say, I would open it if I got new information. And he's presented with new information. How much of it he knows about the internals, we don't know. But he had no choice but to say that this is what's going on. Now, whether or not he knows that there is something that will torture in those emails, nobody right now is in a position to know, which makes it such an impossible situation.
There are reports that the FBI agents who are looking at Ms. Abedin's computer, and this is Anthony Weiner's computer as well, both of them used it. There are reports they sat on this for a number of weeks. This just didn't happen. All right, so the FBI has been looking at this computer for a while. It seems to me that Comey never would, knowing now that Comey is a political player, never would have roiled the election unless somebody gave him a heads up, hey, this is serious.
Well, according to what I've read, and you and I are depending on what we read on this, This was not brought to his attention for several weeks. So if you want to accuse anybody of sitting on it, that would be the people in the case in New York who were looking to prosecute Anthony Weiner. That would not be the Comey people here who were looking into Hillary's emails.
That's not what I'm getting at. What I'm getting at is if the FBI agents have been looking at this computer for weeks, they know, all right, what's on it, at least in part. And they wouldn't have flagged their boss because they know all hell would break loose unless there was something that they feel is important.
Well, look, that's what everybody is assuming, and that is why 34% of the electorate is less inclined to vote for Hillary because of this. Everybody assumes there's stuff on it, that Comey knows what's on it, or at least in part, and that's why he felt he had to act, or he'd be run out of town if she wins the election. This is discovered. Right. He really had no choice, and I think, when it originally happened, when he originally issued his statement about her being careless, sort of amazingly, recklessly careless, but not wanting to indict, I did not agree with his conclusion, but I did not accuse him of bad faith. I was not one of those who thought he had betrayed anybody or anything. I think he wanted to do it precisely because he did not want to be the guy who changed the course of an election. The great irony is that he now is the guy who changes the course.
And that means that there had to be more there that disturbed him, because I think it's all about Comey. And I didn't like the FBI releasing the stuff Friday before Labor Day weekend. I thought that was a political move. What is your assessment of Attorney General Lynch?
She seems to me to be very weak, very much politically influenced, very much not somebody who stands on principle. I think she clearly has been one who wanted to make sure that there was no indictment of Hillary and no jeopardy to the Democratic campaign.
And you think that came from Obama?
That we can never know. Because I tell you what, if you're Attorney General, I don't think the President summons you to his office and says, hey, I want you to fix the deal.
Holder told her.
You know when I know that doesn't happen.
Holder told her.
Well, whether it was Holder, I don't even think anybody is stupid enough to go ahead and say that. You know what your boss wants. This is such a common thing in every walk of life. You know, or you think, you impute what the boss wants. He doesn't have to say it, and that's why all this stuff happens.
So she's putting politics above justice, in your opinion?
It's the, will someone rid me of this troublesome priest? That's what happens. You don't say it. You don't have to say it. It's known by your henchmen, and they go out and they kill the Archbishop of Canterbury.
And Charles referring to Thomas Becket.
Yeah, but I have to tell you, Hillary is not a saint, nor is Trump here. The one thing I think we're going to have, the President has to issue an executive order to install showers in every voting booth in America, because you're going to need it when you walk out.
All right, Charles, thank you.